Hello, students. I just wanted to give you a quick summary of those two scholarly articles about vlogs that I linked to an announcement last week. As you should know, you're not required to read these. If you're interested in them, you might want to read them. As I pointed out last week, you have an assignment that originally was a requirement that you have motion somehow contribute to your description or narration or explanation or argument. But if you wanted instead to make a vlog, you could do that. There's two articles here. One is from 2007. It was actually presented at the International Communication Association in 2008. And the name is New Media and Gender, a content, visual, and audience analysis of YouTube vlogs. So the authors, Heather Molyneux, Carrie Gibson, Susan O'Donnell, and Janice Singer, looked at this phenomenon of vlogs, and they wanted to know who was making vlogs, what the vlogs were about, what was the audience for these vlogs, and what sort of community might result from these things. And so in their conclusions, they point out that vlogs are audience-based. So there's all kinds of vlogs out there, but you would not follow a vlog that was about model railroading unless you're interested in model railroading. And then what happens is communities are formed around vlogs. So there are vlogs about everything under the sun, from video gaming to makeup tutorials to magic to using Photoshop and Illustrator, etc. And one of the things that vlogs will often do is they will generate discussion, and that discussion could be in two forms. Someone creates a vlog, posts it to YouTube, and then people could just be commenting on it by putting in text comments. But people could also make video comments. So the idea that because this genre is video, it will often generate commentary that is both textual and or video based. This group found that women vloggers post less frequently than male vloggers, but they communicate just as much. So women in this study, and again, it's over 10 years old now, so the numbers might have changed somewhat, but I wouldn't be surprised if they still hold true. Women are less likely to produce vlogs, but they are more likely to comment on them and communicate about them and respond to inquiries about them. They concluded that the women in our audience study still feel as much a part of the YouTube community as their male peers. So that study was largely about who is doing it, what were they doing it, and it's consistent with a lot of research into the internet that is probably begins with the idea that in many cases the internet was not a woman-friendly place. It was dominated by males, and there are certain sections of the internet where a woman comes in, and if it's a gaming platform, she might just immediately start being abused by men on the platform. So that was that one. And then the second one was it was more recent. This is from 2018. It's from the American Academy of Advertising, and the title is How an Advertising Disclosure Alerts Young Adolescents to Sponsored Vlogs, the Moderating Role of a Peer-Based Advertising Literacy Intervention Through an Informational Vlog. So this relates to the fact that various media, when they present advertising, the advertising has to be clearly labeled as an ad. You cannot have something which is giving you information and entertainment and then throw in an ad that is not obviously an ad. And so this is the sort of legal code relating to this. So when it comes to vlogs, it's possible that someone is viewing a vlog and doesn't realize that it is a sponsored vlog, and so then the advertisers are getting away with something they should not get away with. So in the discussion and conclusions of this article, they say, Article 9 of the ICC, that's the International Communication Commission, code states that the marketing communication should be clearly distinguishable as such, whatever their form and whatever the medium used. So the FTC basically says you have to clearly identify marketing. So then these authors say, hence the important condition of an advertising disclosure is that it triggers advertising recognition. So this study was particularly relating to adolescents. So they're viewing something on the web, they're viewing something on YouTube, and they might not realize that this is sponsored material, that it is basically an ad. And so the question is then, what do you do in terms of making them aware of that? So in their conclusion, they say the results showed that the disclosure indeed increased young adolescents' recognition of sponsored vlogs as advertising. So when they provided adolescents with this kind of information, it did awaken them to the fact that it was an ad. And then there's the question of, did that have a negative or positive effect upon these adolescents in terms of their perception of what was in the blog? It may be that the prominence of the disclosure should be strengthened, the positioning on the screen should be changed, or the exposure time should be extended. That's in response to the idea that it awakened the viewers to the fact that it was an ad, but it was not that dramatic. And so then what happens is, initially, the recognition that this vlog is sponsored, or it is just a big long ad, had a negative influence upon the audience. And they're going to have sort of a less positive view of whatever it is that is being presented. But not in all cases. So, in particular, the current study found, in agreement with the affect transfer mechanism, that the negative attitudes towards sponsored vlogs were transferred to the influencer and hence decreased young adolescents' evaluation of the influencer's trustworthiness. So, if there's just sort of this generic statement that says this is an ad, then the adolescents' sort of critical awareness comes on and they say, okay, so this is an ad, so I now have a less, it's not going to be neutral and it's most likely to be negative towards the presenter. But if that information is provided by peers, so in contrast, we showed that when young adolescents are informed about advertising by peers, advertising disclosures may be viewed as honest disclosures leading to positive influencer and advertising effects. Hence, this study is one of the first to offer insights into how advertisers can implement influence marketing in an ethical and transparent yet effective way. So what that's saying is, you've got a vlog and it's about a new running shoe. And if the first thing that happens is there's some sort of governmental, sort of statement at the top that says, this is a sponsored vlog for such and such a product, then the people watching it are going to have possibly a negative view of the product. But if instead it's this is aimed at adolescent, and you have an adolescent who comes on and says, okay, everybody, we just want to remind you that these wonderful shoes, are the people who make these wonderful shoes are the ones who are presenting this vlog, showing what great running shoes they are, etc. So if it is a peer telling young adolescents that what they're looking at is an ad, now instead of having a negative attitude towards the product and the influencer, it is more likely to have either a neutral or a positive attitude. So in the end, it seems like there's a rule that the government says you have to make people aware when they are being subjected to advertising, and now these researchers have found a way to make that legally required awareness not necessarily undermine or hurt the efforts of the advertiser. So those two research articles, you have access to them if they're of interest to you, and if not, then now you know all you need to know about them. Talk to you later.